psychotherapy practice called Viewpoint Psychotherapy. Now, over the course of the next 6 minutes, I want to do my absolute best in maintaining a sense of respect and a sense of integrity. Not only for those of you in attendance here this morning, but also for 1 million cups and what 1 million cups represents. And I want to do that by recognizing that this is not my opportunity to stand up here and create a sales pitch. It's certainly not my opportunity to stand up here and brag about my practice. It's instead an opportunity to share with you a little bit about our story and also about our vision behind Viewpoint Psychotherapy. But, and there is a but, in doing so, if I'm going to maintain a sense of honesty with you all, my team and I, we sometimes have to pull ourselves back a bit and keep ourselves in check. And the reality to that is because we are extremely passionate about what we do. Absolutely passionate about what we do. And it's our story that holds responsibility for that passion. And we truly believe that Viewpoint Psychotherapy and the vision that we have for Viewpoint Psychotherapy can truly alter the course of how mental and behavioral health services are being rendered here in the Colorado Springs area, when in collaboration with the folks in the community and certainly when in collaboration with the providers in the community. And it's our story, again, that holds responsibility for this vision, and I'll share a little bit about that with you now. So probably, much like many of you in this room, if I had to guess, I'm not a native to Colorado. I'm originally from Pennsylvania. I've been out here now for, don't hold that against me. I've been out here now for about 12 years, and it was the military that brought me out here. I enlisted in the Army straight out of high school. I served 4 years active duty Army from 2006 to 2010. And from 2008 to 2009, I deployed to Iraq. And when I was coming back from Iraq, my unit they did something that many of you, if you have a military background, you're probably more than familiar with. There's a term for it. It's called voluntold. Voluntold is much like volunteering, only you don't have a say in the matter. So I was voluntold that I was going to be attending a 2-day, very brief, very introductory training course and working with troops who were coming back from deployment. It wasn't really a therapy thing. It was more of a case management role, connecting soldiers to resources both on and off base. And it's funny now looking back because initially I was very much against it. I was very resistant. I had, I was a grunt in the military. I was an infantryman, so my mentality was I needed to be out in the field running and gunning. The last place I wanted to be was cooped up and wedged in a small office talking about feelings. I envisioned all these sort of irrational stereotypes. I thought I was going to be singing Kumbaya and like burning incense. Very much not my scene. But once I got in that role, and once I started doing it, and once I started working with soldiers and their families, I absolutely fell in love with it. And I knew there was a place for it in my future. And so I got out, I completed my schooling in a rather non-traditional sort of way, particularly for the field that I'm in. And I went to work here in the community. And for the first couple years, it was very fulfilling. I enjoyed it very much. It was very rewarding. But much like the fuel that I think probably fans a lot of passion that goes into a lot of startups, I started to spot a lot of flaws. I started to spot a lot of things I didn't like. I started seeing things like clinician burnout. I started seeing things that really led me to believe that I was part of a culture that was breeding quantity over quality in effort to turn a profit. And that was not okay with me. And it wasn't okay with those closest to me. And so in collaboration with a fantastic colleague of mine and wonderful clinician, we created Viewpoint Psychotherapy. Now, Viewpoint Psychotherapy is built off of one simple and one single premise that each and every single person in this room right now is already more than familiar with. And that's that client satisfaction absolutely must begin with clinician satisfaction. And to be honest with you, this is really the part now where it becomes a challenge to separate and distinguish our story from our vision and our story, even from our business model, because so much of what we create and so much of what we aim to do is built off of what we didn't like and what we were seeing in the field and what we wanted and how we wanted to change it. And so I can always talk more about this during the Q&A, and I want to be respectful of everybody's time. I'm sure I'm coming to a close here, but essentially the vision for Viewpoint Psychotherapy and the model that we want to use is to operate as a hub, as an umbrella for other clinicians, other professionals in the community to come on board to provide exceptional services to the men, women, and children of our community, to have access to the ability to dictate their own schedule, to have the ability to dictate their own caseload, in some cases to have the ability to dictate their own pay, all the while creating an environment and a one-stop shop for the potential patients in the community to come on board and to get the services that they need. And that's something that we take to heart and something that we're really passionate about doing. And so I'm happy to talk more about that during the Q&A, but essentially, thank you. Thank you so much for allowing me this opportunity. I welcome all questions, comments, and criticism as well.